Chapter 1. The Myth of Loud Power. Let's start with a brutal truth no one talks about in the self-help space. The loudest guy in the room is rarely the most powerful. You've seen it. The man who walks in and instantly starts talking, cracking jokes, taking up space, trying to own the room. But you know what really happens? People might laugh. They might even pay attention for a while, but they don't respect him. They don't feel pulled toward him. Because the room knows, even if they don't say it out loud, that he's performing. Real power doesn't announce itself, it doesn't explain itself, it just is. We are going to delve into the silent power, the Stoic energy, the kind of presence that doesn't need words to dominate a room, because it's already been felt the moment you walked in. Now here's the shift. Most men think they need to say something impressive to get attention. But real presence isn't built through noise. It's built through body language, energy control, intentional stillness, eye contact, and the ability to be completely at home in your own skin without begging the room to validate you. This isn't theory, this is ancient. This is Stoicism applied to social dominance. Because 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius didn't need to bark commands to be respected. He was respected because he was composed. He was trusted because he didn't react. He was followed because he didn't need the spotlight, but still lit up every room he entered with presence. So if you've ever walked into a room and felt invisible, or overcompensated and felt fake afterward, or wondered why some men dominate without effort while you feel like you're trying way too hard, this script is for you. Because I'm going to teach you what schools, bosses, and dating coaches never do. How to command attention by saying nothing. And how the power of silent stoicism can transform the way you show up in dating, in business, in friendship, and in life. In the next 5 chapters, we'll cover the body language of Stoic dominance, how to enter any room without shrinking or performing, how stillness triggers status, why people trust calm over charisma, and how to practice this in daily life, even if you're naturally introverted. Let's kill the myth that you need to be loud to be powerful. Because the most commanding men in any room are the ones who don't say a word and still get the final word. Chapter 2. Stoic body language, the discipline of presence. Let's get into the foundation of silent dominance. Your body, your posture, your stillness. You don't need to say a word to influence a room, but your body is always speaking, whether you realize it or not. And here's what it's saying when you walk in. Do you believe you belong here? Do you trust yourself to lead or observe? Are you hunting for approval or radiating self-respect? Because body language is the language of power. And Stoics understood this long before alpha male content started flooding your feed. They knew that a man who can control his body can control his energy. And a man who can control his energy controls the room. Let's get brutally clear. When you walk into a room hunched, fidgeting, darting your eyes around, nervously smiling at everyone in sight, you've already lost presence. You've told the room, I need something from you. But when you walk in upright, grounded, shoulders relaxed, eyes soft but direct, and most importantly, when you're not in a hurry to impress or respond, the room doesn't just notice you, it orients around you. Because calm men are rare, and rare is always valuable. Now, I'm not talking about cartoonish power poses. I'm not saying puff your chest and pretend to be a statue. I'm talking about intentional physical restraint, a stillness that signals control over yourself, over your breath, over your environment. It's the same energy Marcus Aurelius cultivated as emperor. He didn't fidget. He didn't posture. He didn't demand to be heard. He was heard because his presence carried weight before his words did. That's what Stoic body language is all about. Controlled movement, still hands, grounded posture, steady breath, zero rush, and eyes that say, I don't need to speak to be seen. Stoic body language blueprint practice. These until they become second nature. Walk slowly and deliberately. Speed is often a sign of nervousness. Power moves with purpose. Keep your hands still or resting calmly. Avoid fidgeting. Let your body be an anchor in the room. Stand tall but not rigid. Relaxed strength is far more commanding than forced posture. Make eye contact, but never chase it. Look at people when you speak. Look away when you're done. Never linger to check their reaction. Let your stillness speak first. Don't rush to fill silence. People lean in when you lean back. Self-reflection. What does my body say when I enter a room? Do I move with calm or with need? If I couldn't speak for a full hour, could I still influence the people around me? Because if the answer is no, then this is your new practice. Master your body. Control your movement. Let presence replace performance, because in the age of noise, nothing speaks louder than stillness. Chapter 3. The power of entering without performing. Let's talk about entrances, because the moment you walk into a room, whether it's a business meeting, a date, a party, or a dinner, you're being evaluated not by what you say, but by how you carry yourself before you speak. Most men walk into rooms like they're hoping to be invited in. They shrink. They rush to greet. They look around anxiously, searching for cues, and they start performing. Smiling too much, nodding excessively, injecting comments or jokes they don't really believe in, all in an effort to be liked. But here's the Stoic truth. If your presence depends on performance, you don't have presence. Presence is not something you turn on when people look at you. It's something you radiate before they even notice you. And that starts the moment you walk in. Let's use an example. You enter a room of powerful people, sharp-dressed, high-value individuals. The average guy walks in and immediately scans the room. Who should I talk to? Who's looking at me? Do I look good enough? Should I check my phone? He's shrinking. He doesn't realize it, but his energy is begging the room to accept him. Now imagine a stoic man enters. He doesn't rush in. He doesn't scan frantically. He pauses. He takes a moment to feel the space. He notices not just people, but the environment. And then he moves, not to impress, but to observe. He's not performing. He's not trying to fit in. He's simply occupying space, like he's allowed to be there because he already decided he belongs there. And that is magnetic. Most people's energy says, please let me belong here. Stoic energy says, I already do. Not from arrogance, from certainty. Because when you stop trying to convince people to like you, you give them the space to be curious about you instead. And that space, that pause, that's tension, that's presence, that's power. Stoic entrance ritual train this until it becomes your baseline. Before walking in, take 2 deep, slow breaths. Let go of all urgency. Power walks slowly, pause at the threshold. Not dramatically, just long enough to get still before you enter. You're not rushing to be seen. You're choosing to be felt. Survey the room without rushing to connect. Let your attention move slowly. Don't seek eye contact. Allow it to find you. Do not reach for your phone. Phones are modern shields. A Stoic doesn't hide. He holds the moment without escape. Self-reflection. When I enter a room, am I performing or observing? Do I look for validation before I even sit down? What would happen if I entered with zero need to be liked? Because here's the paradox. When you walk in without needing to be noticed, you often become the most noticed man in the room. Not because of what you say, but because of what you withhold. Chapter 4. Stillness over speech. The status of the unmoved. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked forms of dominance, stillness. In a world addicted to movement, noise, constant stimulation, and fast reactions, stillness is not just rare, it's powerful, it's status. And the reason is primal. In nature, the most dangerous animal in the room is never the loud one. It's the one who doesn't flinch, the one who doesn't react, the one who's coiled, focused, controlled. That's the energy of stillness. And that's why the Stoics lived by it. They understood that a man who can stay still when others get triggered commands instinctual respect, because stillness means control, and control means strength. Now apply this to any high-stakes environment, a business meeting, a room full of peers, a date where you're being tested, a confrontation with someone emotionally unstable. The average man gets flustered. He fidgets, speaks too fast, tries to fill silence, or worse, defends himself before he's even attacked. But the Stoic, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't rush. He holds his position, physically and mentally. Not because he's trying to dominate, but because he's already decided, I don't need to prove anything to keep my ground. That is the status of the unmoved. Let me make something clear. Stillness isn't about being passive. It's about being centered. It's the refusal to be pulled in 100 directions by every look, opinion, or micro-expression. It's the discipline to let silence stretch and still feel safe inside it. It's the calm smile in the face of passive-aggressive jabs. The slow blink when someone's trying to provoke you. The willingness to say nothing because you already know your value isn't up for negotiation. And people feel that. They might not be able to name it, but they'll feel it. And they'll adjust their energy to match yours or remove themselves from your frame. Either way, you stay in control. Stoic stillness training practice non-reaction. Throughout your day, when someone says something awkward, aggressive, or emotional, pause. Breathe. Observe. Let them fill the space. Use silence intentionally. When someone asks you a question, don't rush to answer. Give it space. Make them sit with the weight of your presence. Embrace slow movement. Stop jerky or rushed gestures. Let your body signal composure. Move like you already own the room. Hold eye contact without emotional attachment. Don't search for approval in their response. Just hold them, calm, unshaken. Self-reflection. Can I remain still when others are uncomfortable? Do I instinctively fill silence to escape tension? What would change if I trusted that my presence, not my words, is the most powerful thing I offer? Because here's the secret: when you stop chasing control, you begin to radiate it, and that kind of stillness, it's not empty, it's charged. Chapter 5. Why people trust calm, not charisma. Let's flip the script on something you've probably been told your whole life. You need to be charismatic to win people over. But here's the truth most men eventually figure out. Charisma gets attention. Calm earns trust. Charisma is loud, flashy, performative. It lights up fast when and often burns out just as quickly. But calm? Calm is sustainable. It's solid. It doesn't change depending on the room, the mood, or the audience. And in a world full of men who are constantly trying to sell themselves, the man who doesn't need to sell anything becomes the most trustworthy figure in the room. Let's break it down. Why do people instinctively trust calm individuals? Because calm implies control, and control implies competence. You trust the pilot who sounds relaxed. You trust the doctor who doesn't panic. You trust the man who doesn't raise his voice when challenged. Because deep down you know, if he can stay calm when everyone else is losing it, he's not faking this. He's built for this. Now think about how this plays out in your own life. On a date, when she tests you emotionally, do you flinch or fold? In a negotiation, when someone presses you, do you talk faster or start defending? At a party, do you start overcompensating when you feel unseen? Calm men don't do that, because they're not trying to prove, they're just trying to be. And that is what creates presence that feels safe, dominant, and attractive all at once. Here's the paradox. The more pressure you're under, so the more calm you show, the more authority people assign to you, without you asking for it. That's not charisma, that's command. And the best part? You don't need to be extroverted, you don't need to be the loudest or funniest. You just need to be unchanged by the emotional current around you. Because emotions are contagious, but so is control. Calm over charisma practice. Slow your speech in high-stakes moments. When tension rises, slow down your words instead of speeding up. People lean into control. Practice conversational minimalism. Say what matters, and stop there. No rambling, no explaining, no apologizing for your energy. Don't reward volatility. When others overreact, you under-respond. Train yourself to stay grounded when others seek chaos. Check your breath. Anxiety is loud. Calm is silent. If your breath is rushed, your presence is scattered. Self-reflection. Do I rely on charisma to compensate for insecurity? Have I built a presence people can trust under pressure? When others react emotionally, do I join them or steady them? Because here's the truth. Charisma makes people like you, but calm makes people follow you. And the man who commands a room without words isn't the most entertaining. He's the most centered. Let me know when you're ready for Chapter 6. Final reflection. Become the center of gravity. Chapter 6. Final reflection. Become the center of gravity. We've spent the last 5 chapters breaking down the mechanics of presence. How to carry yourself, how to move, how to hold space, how to stop performing and start commanding. But now it comes down to this. Who are you when no one needs you to perform? Because a man who commands a room without saying a word isn't just well practiced. He's well rooted. He doesn't need to be heard to feel powerful. He doesn't need to be seen to feel worthy. He doesn't need to impress to know he belongs. He walks into the room with his own gravity, and the room shifts. Not because he demands it, but because he doesn't need it. That's what Stoic presence is. Unshakable, calm, silent confidence, non-reactive strength, rooted identity, and it's rare, which is why it's respected, which is why it draws people in, which is why it works. Whether you're with a woman in a boardroom or standing in silence at the edge of a chaotic world, you don't have to posture. You don't have to chase charisma. You don't have to steal the spotlight. You just have to become so aligned with your values, so comfortable with your silence, so grounded in your presence, that the world adjusts to you. The Stoic practice of power without words. Here's how you build this, day by day. Morning ritual. Begin your day in silence, no stimulation, just 5 minutes of still breathing. Presence starts within. Daily challenge. Practice entering spaces with zero need to perform. Observe before you engage. Say less, be more. Evening reflection. Ask yourself, did I lead through my energy today, or did I try to be liked through effort? This is not about being perfect. It's about becoming a force. Still, steady, focused. Final reflection. Can I be powerful without being loud? Can I hold attention without chasing it? Can I be magnetic without speaking a single word? Because when you can, you become untouchable, not arrogant, not withdrawn, but rooted, respected, remembered. And in every room you enter, you don't need to introduce yourself. Your energy already has